ABC 10 News at 5 starts right now.
A huge blow for the Padres. The team will be without Fernando Tatis Jr. for a little while after he tested positive for COVID-19. The ripple effect that's having on the team.
Plus, Republican John Cox rallying with a live bear in San Diego. The beastly changes he's calling for as he campaigns to replace Governor Gavin Newsom in a likely recall election.
And 2 dead whales found under an Australian ship at Naval Base San Diego. The investigation now underway.
ABC 10 News at 5 starts now.
First, it was a shoulder injury. Now, one of the Padres' highest paid players is out again after testing positive for COVID-19. Good evening. I'm Lindsay Pena.
And I'm Steve Atkinson. Just hours ago, the team did announce that Fernando Tatis Jr. will be sidelined, along with 2 other players who may have been exposed to him. Our sports director, Ben Higgins, is joining us where the Padres say that Tatis Jr. is asymptomatic. Ben.
And that's good news, but it doesn't make the positive test any less of a blow to the Padres, who are continuing to get ready for a road game against the Colorado Rockies that's scheduled to start in less than an hour. Now, the team got word of the positive COVID test for their star shortstop last night. Players and coaches are currently tested every 2 days. Tatis will have to remain on the injured list until clearing protocols, including 2 negative test results. Joining Tatis on the IL are teammates Jurickson Profar and Jorge Mateo. Now, neither outfielder tested positive, but both will be held out for now due to contact tracing issues. One question left unanswered is whether Tatis or the other players have been vaccinated. Manager Jace Tingler declined to answer that question, but did say a majority of his players have received the vaccine, close to the goal of 85% set by Major League Baseball. Tatis will now return home from Denver separately from the rest of the Padres. We're scheduled to play a doubleheader tomorrow in addition to tonight's game. Tingler talked about the emotional impact of losing his star player under these circumstances.
Naturally, you're punched in the stomach a little bit. You first of all want to make sure, certainly Tatis in this situation, is he feeling okay? And it was good to kind of see him, over FaceTime, and he's feeling well. He's crushed. He's crushed, inside mentally, things like that.
Said Tatis did not break any of Major League Baseball's COVID rules and hopes the rest of the team can pick up the slack while the shortstop is out. I'm Ben Higgins, ABC 10 News.
All right, Ben, thank you. Here are the latest numbers for coronavirus in the county. 125 new cases were reported today. That brings the total now to more than 278,000. There were no new deaths, so that number remains at 3,725.
12 to 15-year-olds could start getting a COVID-19 vaccine as early as Thursday. That's after the FDA expanded the emergency authorization yesterday for Pfizer's vaccine. But some experts have questioned the FDA's process. ABC 10 News anchor Derek Stahl is going in depth to explain why.
The American public demands and deserves a rigorous, comprehensive, and independent review of the data.
Before the FDA authorized Pfizer's vaccine for people 16 and up, we got hours of public presentations on how safe they were and how well they worked. Regulators released a 53-page report with data on every possible side effect and how often they happened. But when the FDA authorized Pfizer's vaccine in kids 12 to 15, there was no public hearing, just a press release with less than 2 pages on effectiveness and safety. Instead of numbers, the FDA wrote the side effects in adolescents were consistent with those reported in clinical trial participants 16 years of age and older.
A little disappointed because I don't get to see the data with my own eyes, but I think that's just kind of a procedural thing.
Dr. Christian Ramers of Family Health Centers of San Diego says he thinks the full data will be released soon. But some experts think the FDA missed an opportunity for transparency at a time when polls show parents still have questions. Only 30% of families plan to get their 12 to 15-year-olds vaccinated right away. And experts say immunizing them will be key to ending the pandemic.
I think it was fine what the FDA did.
Dr. John Bradley is a pediatrician at Rady Children's Hospital who has served as an outside expert in these FDA hearings before.
The FDA tells you that they need your opinion if they've got a problem with interpretation or there's controversy and they want to share controversy with this outside group.
He says in this case, the decision was such a slam dunk, regulators didn't need a hearing. The efficacy in this age group was 100%. And he says it's no surprise the side effects in adolescents mirrored those in adults.
Psychologically, they're a bit different. They're all morphing from children into adults, but the function of the liver, kidneys, immune system itself actually is pretty similar to adults.
In fact, he says they're so similar to adults. Over the last few years, major pediatrics groups have been calling on the FDA to include 12-year-olds in adult drug trials. So between the millions of adults who have been vaccinated and the new study on 2,000 12 to 15-year-olds, he says parents can rest assured these shots are safe and effective. Derek Stahl, ABC 10 News.
Experts agree there are important differences in the way kids 11 and under respond to vaccines. That's why drug makers are testing COVID shots with lower doses for that age group. The FDA just announced it will have a public hearing next month to discuss its approach for those younger kids.
A fiery debate in Congress today as Republican senators push medical leaders over mask mandates.
The conflicting, confusing guidance from your agency has undermined public confidence.
That was Maine Senator Susan Collins criticizing CDC Director Dr. Rochelle Walensky. Collins pointed out a recent report in the New York Times that found that no COVID cases from people casually walking past each other outdoors or sitting near each other at an outdoor restaurant. Dr. Anthony Fauci said it is all about limiting the spread as much as possible until enough people are vaccinated.
If we continue to vaccinate people at the rate that we're doing, we will begin to return to the normality that all of us desire so much.
Fauci has said we are nearing the point of relaxing more of the mask guidelines. And you can keep up with any new developments surrounding the pandemic by downloading our free mobile app. Just go to the App Store and search 10 News.
California Governor Gavin Newsom is proposing $12 billion in funding to tackle the state's homeless crisis. He made that announcement during a stop in San Diego today. The governor says that investment will create several initiatives, including 46,000 new housing units and rental payment assistance to end family homelessness within 5 years.
This is not just doubling down on strategies that we know work. This is an order of magnitude.
California has an estimated 161,000 people experiencing homelessness, which is more than any other state. Also in San Diego today was one of the Republican candidates hoping to replace Governor Newsom. San Diego businessman John Cox brought his bus tour to Shelter Island this morning. His campaign message was at times overshadowed by the live bear he continues to appear with. John Cox stood in front of his bus that reads Meet the Beast Tuesday, along with a Kodiak bear named Tag, now a focal point of his campaign and included in some of his first ads.
California's choice, beauty
Pretty boy.
or a beast. John Cox grew up with nothing.
The bear obviously is a symbol of the beastly changes, and the message is getting out.
Cox, a Rancho Santa Fe businessman, ran unsuccessfully for governor back in 2018.
I'm an outsider. I'm not part of the establishment.
He says the current divisive political climate must be overcome.
Let's move on. Let's talk about the problems of the here and now, about getting our kids education, about getting them affordable housing, about getting homeless people the help they need.
Cox's website lists some of his top priorities as cutting taxes, reducing cost of living, and addressing energy issues.
There's millions of people that are hearing the message that I'm bringing, and that is we have to solve the problems of this state, and we have to have big beastly changes to do it.
But throughout today's appearance, animal rights activists could be heard shouting.
He would die immediately if he was free. You know, he was raised in captivity. He can't live free. He would die in the wild.
So far, Cox is leading the field of Republican challengers in our polling.
Patients of Scripps Health are still struggling to get information about when appointments will be back to normal. A cyber attack led to the cancellation of countless appointments and procedures. Our ABC 10 News reporter Rachel Bianco has more on what the Scripps CEO is finally saying about the attack.
This is the message that pops up on the Scripps Health website. The patient portal also still down. 10 days after a cyber attack brought down the healthcare giant's electronic systems, there is no word when things will be back to normal.
It's not so much even that it's been down, which is highly irritating, but it's the failure to communicate with people in alternative fashions in any way, shape, or form.
Greg Miner is an IT specialist for a local law firm. He and his family have been patients of Scripps Health for 20 years.
This is dangerous for the community. It's dangerous for the individuals. It's certainly dangerous for the staff.
Hundreds of people are getting some questions answered on the Scripps Facebook page, but the CEO has been unusually quiet.
The fact that no one has heard from him other than I can't because it's still, the investigation is coming on, doesn't smell true.
Monday, Scripps CEO and President Chris Van Gorder sent this memo to staff about the outage. A PR spokesman shared it with ABC 10 News after we asked for it. It reads in part, quote, "Our team prepares for this type of situation and immediately took steps to contain the malware by taking a significant portion of our network offline."
My concern is primarily that there's transparency in what's going on.
Van Gorder addresses that, saying in part, quote, "This is a different kind of situation which limits what and when I can say things." He goes on to say, "The attack targeted our information systems. At this time, we have no reason to believe individual data incidents affecting employees, physicians, or patients are related to our current incident." Rachel Bianco, ABC 10 News.
The CEO says that patient care decisions, they are being made by doctors and clinical teams, not at the corporate level. People with upcoming appointments are still advised to call 1-800-SCRIPPS. And it is official tonight. San Diego Unified School District Superintendent Cindy Martin has been confirmed as the nation's next Deputy Education Secretary. The U.S. Senate voted 54-44 to confirm Martin today. She was nominated for that post earlier this year by the Biden administration. Martin has served as superintendent for the past 8 years. Now, Lamont Jackson is now serving as interim superintendent through the end of the year until a permanent replacement is found.
A surreal sight off Naval Base San Diego. The carcass of a fin whale tied up near an Australian Navy ship, one of 2 whales killed by ship strikes. As ABC 10 News reporter Michael Chen shows us, a joint review now underway to determine what led to the whale deaths.
This is video of the HMAS Sydney, an Australian destroyer, making its way into San Diego Bay on Saturday morning. The ship has been in the area conducting joint exercises with the U.S. Navy since early April. About half an hour after this video, as the ship was pulling into a pier at Naval Base San Diego, a sobering sight. According to a U.S. Navy spokesperson, the carcasses of 2 fin whales became dislodged from the hull and surfaced. One was 65 feet long, the other 25 feet.
It's sad, but it's also not surprising.
Research biologist John Kalambakides has been studying whales and ship strikes for several decades. While he's never heard of 2 whales being found at the same time, he says it's not uncommon for the strikes to be first discovered when a ship slows down. That's because of the size and speed of a large ship.
In the vast majority of cases that I'm familiar with, the ship is unaware of having struck the whale.
Kalambakides says the collisions could have taken place anywhere, close or far from shore.
While it's possible this is the result of separate incidences, it's also possible this is a mother and calf from the size distribution.
Kalambakides says the fin whale is vulnerable to ship strikes because of its large size. It also breathes, rests, and sometimes feeds near the surface. He says along the West Coast there are a few documented strikes of fin whales every year, but the actual number is probably closer to 50. This afternoon, the larger of the 2 whales was towed out to sea to be sunk. In a statement, the Navy says it's disheartened by the deaths, promising a joint review between U.S. and Australian authorities into the whale deaths. Michael Chen, ABC 10 News.
Tissue samples have been collected and a necropsy may be done on the smaller whale. Experts say fin whales are found off our coast year-round. Right now, it's considered an intense feeding time.